Hi, my name is Guy Arguin. I'm the Regional HR Director for Middle East and Africa within Atkins. I have the absolute pleasure today to interview Kathleen McGrail. Kathleen is a Program Director within Atkins, but she's also been recently appointed as Chair of our Women's Business Network within the region. Kathleen is one of our most inspiring leaders and women within the business, so it's a great pleasure for me to spend some time with her. So Kathleen, to begin with, congratulations for this new appointment. Really, really exciting, and really exciting for us also to have you lead this Women's Business Network.
Oh, thank you. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here, and of course was very excited with the nomination for the chair of the Women's Business Network. I've actually been in the construction engineering industry for at least 20 years now, so quite a long time, but I'm very passionate about my field. I've started as a civil engineer and eventually went to do an MBA and came back to work more in the consulting advisory services area. And I've certainly seen a lot and travelled a lot of the world during that time. But what's also surprised me is from the very, very early on, the small number of women within our industry, and I'd like to do something to change that. So sitting as part of the Women's Business Network going forward is very exciting for me. And certainly there's been a lot of achievements that Leslie kicked off last year. She's done a fantastic job. Large number of events run, and one in particular had over 100 ladies attending. We're already igniting a lot of passion and spark and energy across the organisation for commitment to this network. We're looking at policy changes, so lots of exciting things to do going forward.
Would you mind sharing with us where you feel the WBN needs now to continue or start building focus for the next 12 to 18 months, building on what Leslie has done with the rest of the team?
I think now it's time for some real concrete changes, and it's time for us to really put some actions in place regarding the retention of women within the workforce. We've started looking at a number of policies around maternity and flexible working, and I'd really like to see those changes implemented this year. I'd also like to see some targets in place around the senior leadership team. As we know, we don't have any women sitting at that level at the moment, so I think it's time for a change, and I'd like to place that emphasis on us as a group to actually look at how we might do that going forward. And even ladies sitting within our key verticals are equally as important. So some real substantive changes, but the main thing is keeping the network going, and also in particular focusing on how to improve our mentoring and sponsoring of employees, and linking that to our overall talent management and succession planning. I think these things are real concrete examples of progress, and something we can then advertise to the external environment as well, and bring the best talent into the organisation.
I mean, I can definitely sense the passion in what you're saying. I mean, as you said, I think there's a lot of great areas to focus on and to build on over the coming year or so. Can you see any real example in our society or in our industry that we can aspire to, or we can look to hopefully copy or improve on?
It's actually, I do believe it's quite a difficult one, because what's affecting us is affecting many industries. There are low numbers of women, and certainly in our organisation we have to admit that about only 20% of our colleagues are women, and very, very few numbers at the senior positions. But I think it's time to look at other industry areas, and certainly other very globally competitive economies like the Scandinavian countries, where they seem to be able to get a much, much better gender balance. If we perhaps look at the teaching environment, that's much more suited and catered for women with families, providing much more flexible working. So again, it's looking at other industries and taking best practice and lessons learned, and trying to see how we can integrate those within our organisation to again make us the employer of choice, and somewhere that our young females want to join and then retain and stay with us over the journey.
Tremendous challenges, but also some fantastic opportunities for us to work on. Just concretely, because a lot of people say, it's nice, a lot of big international companies are also focusing on this, but how do you see this, focusing in these areas that you just mentioned, how do you see this benefiting Atkins or industry in general?
Well, I truly believe this is a very exciting time for us. As Atkins, as a firm, we're embarking on some fantastic new initiatives, for example, our future-proofing of cities. Now, this type of design work requires designers, engineers, planners, who across all genders, because they're designing social infrastructure, and they have to understand the demographic of the social and the societies that they're actually building for. So it makes it even more critical for us to bring that blended workforce into our environment and actually use them to help us with the design. And that's what our clients want as well. In the UAE in particular, there's some fantastic schemes of driving Emirati females through the workforce and bringing them in. And our clients are looking for us as role models to do the same. So ultimately, I believe what we'll then take to market is a very, very concrete proposition and place us very competitively against our competitors and where we're going in the longer term.
That's great, really exciting. I mean, it's been a pleasure talking to you and hear your areas of focus. Clearly, there's a plan in mind for you and the WBN to lead, and looking forward to working with you on those plans. And it's been a pleasure meeting with you. And again, congratulations for this appointment.
Thank you so much. I'm really delighted with the interview and also just looking forward to the journey ahead. And I very much encourage women within the business and joining the business to come and talk to me about any concerns or any things they'd like to change or be part of our network going forward.